Hey there, it's Fernandas from thatpromix.com, and today I want to talk about the new product Apple unveiled yesterday, the Vision Pro. A pair of augmented and virtual reality glasses aiming to revolutionize the tech world with what they have called spatial computing. But what does this mean for music and audio production? Are we on the verge of a radical change in how we create and produce music? Let's talk about it. Now, if you haven't seen the Vision Pro presentation, I highly recommend heading over to Apple's website after seeing this video to see what I'm talking about. In a nutshell, the Vision Pro is Apple's shiny new baby. It's a pair of glasses that lets you do all sort of cool stuff with augmented and virtual reality. It feels like a gadget from the future, and honestly, when I watched the presentation, I kind of transported myself to the future, and it felt like one of those movies where people live in a parallel virtual world. It was super exciting, but also a bit scary, to be honest. Throughout the presentation, they showed us how the user interface would work with Apple Vision. Basically, you put on the glasses and it's a mix of your real surroundings with a virtual space. You control everything with your hands, eyes, and voice. No need for any controllers. You can click with a hand gesture and even dictate in a search field using your voice. So far, they only demonstrated how Apple apps would function, like the web browser Safari projecting a virtual screen of any size you want. And you can position multiple screens in your space. We haven't seen any audio-related applications yet. However, one feature in the glasses caught my attention. This feature comes by default right out of the box, and I believe we could be seeing its first real utility in the audio world. Let me explain. You see, I've always had issues with displays. I like having a lot of screen real estate in my sessions, and so I love working with a high resolution, like for example 4K. But on a standard 27-inch monitor, everything appears too small for me to work comfortably. I need a 43-inch monitor, which is what I currently have, to work well and see everything from where I'm sitting. However, it's a huge monitor and takes a lot of space. Also, its size prevents me from having more than one monitor at the same time. If I had two monitors this size side by side, I wouldn't have the space to place my speakers correctly. Now imagine being able to project a giant virtual mixer in front of you using these glasses. On the side, we could have, different plugins open all the time. And on the other side, we could have some instruments or the editing window, for example. Can you imagine? We wouldn't even need a physical display in the studio, freeing all that space we could use for other things. And since selection is done with your eyes, you could just look at the channel or control you want to choose and move it with a simple gesture. In my opinion, it's definitely interesting. However, we'd need to try it out and see if it's truly viable, because things often look good on paper but don't work well in practice. But even if we only had the option to project screens while still using a keyboard and mouse, that would be worth considering. Now that I think about it, using key commands is an essential way to work with audio apps. So we would need to find a way to input these commands. Now I'm curious, what do you think about these glasses and how would you imagine using them in the studio? Share your thoughts in the comments below. All in all, I think it's definitely an interesting concept, but it may be still too early to fully embrace this technology. On one hand, we'd need to see how long we can wear these glasses without causing visual fatigue. Weight is another factor to consider, since some YouTube reviews suggest they might be a bit too heavy. So a several-hour mixing session could become tiring. Plus, the battery only lasts for 2 hours. And even though you can connect it to a power source, it probably wouldn't be very comfortable to have a cable connecting and hanging around all the time. In any case, I believe it's a promising start. And even as it is, this device is better than anything currently available on the market. Ultimately, it would be up to the people to decide whether they adopt this technology or not. But one thing is certain, we could be at the beginning of a new era. Just like when the iPhone was introduced back in 2007, it could be happening now in 2023 with the Vision Pro. Alright guys, click on the logo above to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more content, here is another video for you. See you there.